But this book, for example, it's perfectly normal. This is a book that is actually geared for 10-year-olds and up. 10-year-olds, that's 4th grade. This is a sex ed curriculum. There is horrific images in here. America is just losing its mind.
Right.
It's just losing its mind. It's lost its values, and now it's lost its mind. This book, this is a printout from a book for 8th graders. And so 8th grade and up. And it talks about how parents should be encouraged to have sex in front of their children, that they should, breastfeed and have sex at the same time in front of their babies.
No, you're kidding me.
This is just sick.
The American Medical Association has announced that the sex of a child should not be on a birth certificate because we don't know it until they choose it. This is the American Medical Association.
Can you pull this up?
Yes, pull it up.
The American Medical.
Yes, the American. See, this is the thing. People don't know the damage the left does to everything it touches: art, music, education, children, male-female relations, and medicine. It has corrupted the medical field. The American Society of, or American Academy of Pediatrics, or pediatricians, whatever the full name is, they've come out for affirmative care to give minors hormone blockers. I mean, that is evil.
So now we are seeing kids that are identifying as animals going to school, and they are purring instead of answering questions, and they meow, and the teachers are not allowed to question it because it's considered a queer identity.
So you have kids that are going to school and they're saying, I'm a cat. And the teachers have to affirm them as a cat.
Yes. So it's not
schools
just
are
the young ones.
literal zoos now, basically.
They are.
The LGBTQIA++, XYZ, LMNOP, MAP movement, they no longer stand for equality or inclusion. They stand for cultural dominance. And I really decided to step away once they started pushing hormones and castration and sterilization on children. So if I had been born today in this modern LGBTQIA XYZ culture, they would have told me I'm in the wrong body. And they could have given me hormones. They could have mutilated me before I was 18 and knew what I was doing. So the reason I stepped away is because all I ask is the freedom to be gay, wear a wig, have a good time. My freedoms end where the freedoms of others begin. And that includes evangelical Christians. That includes people who say I'm going to hell, because I am a free speech absolutist. And if I want to have the free speech to, be crazy and have fun, then I have to defend the free speech of others. And so that's why in 2019, I just said enough is enough. This LGBTQIA+ movement is doing things in my name, so to speak, that I cannot tolerate.
The left tries to do this cute little thing where we expose things like this. We expose the sexualization of children in the classrooms. We expose what they're doing at these drag brunches with these kids. And they deny they're trying to trans your children. They deny that they are trying to confuse them about their sexuality at a young age. They deny that they are trying to normalize children consenting to sex. No. What do they say? They say, you're the transphobe. You're just homophobic. You're the bigot for not being inclusive enough. I gotta tell you, I don't give a shit about your inclusivity. I'm not inclusive, actually. I want that record to be clear. I'm not inclusive. I want to exclude every single one of these child abusers from society. I think all of them belong in prison while they await the death penalty. That's how not inclusive I am. You can call me whatever the hell you want. This is the most important thing going on in our country right now. Oh, inflation, I don't know what I'm gonna do about my retirement. I can't find eggs at the grocery store. I'm so mad, my damn taxes are going up. But if we cannot agree that we have to protect children from being abused, that we will protect the innocence of children and stop exposing them to sex, to perversions, to irreversible hormones, chemical castration, chopping their genitals off, chopping their breasts off, nothing else matters. This little experiment we call America, done. So if you think that this isn't a deal breaker for society as we know it, then you and I are not the same.
mother from Rhode Island who was sued by the teachers union simply because I wanted to know what my kindergartner would be learning in school. And here's how this happened. I asked to see the curriculum, and my school told me I had to submit a public records request. The curriculum wasn't posted online and it wasn't available in a school district. Then I asked them if they were teaching gender theory, and they told me that they don't call children boys and girls, and they embed the values of gender identity into every classroom, including kindergarten, and they didn't want to answer any of my questions further. And when I did submit the public records request that they told me to submit, and I submitted hundreds because I had hundreds of questions, my school board then put my name on the agenda of a public school board meeting and held a public school board meeting to discuss suing me for submitting the request that they told me to submit. In a 5-hour-long school board meeting, they openly debated my moral character, my political motivations, and they really just tarred and feathered me for asking questions. They wanted to send a message to other parents that if you ask questions, they will come after you. And when that happened, then the teachers union, the largest teachers union in the country, the NEA, did file a lawsuit against me to bully me and harass me with frivolous litigation and to send a message to other parents that if you ask questions about public education, they will come after you.
They don't want you to think of transgenderism as a psychiatric, psychological process that the person is suffering under, but yet they want to bill insurance companies, so it's got to sound like a medical condition. So they came up with gender dysphoria, and all the while they're waving their hands going, but this is not a pathology. This is just, you know, it's kind of like a diagnosis, but it's not a pathology. Well, if it's not a pathology, why are we amputating people's genitals and breasts? What's that about, right? Is it an objective reality or not? And if it is an objective reality, why are you operating on their genitals? Since we stopped doing frontal lobotomies, nobody has done surgery for a psychological problem.
This is what happens when we want to let this whole gender identity stuff run wild. Are you ready? This is the result. Yeah. Pedophile who identifies as baby girl caught breaking into a daycare. This is what happens.
At 16, the very first medical intervention I ever had was a double mastectomy. A few months later, I was then put on cross-sex hormones. I am now 21. I live with constant joint pain to the point that it is so bad that I have not been able to get out of bed to go to class some days. My vocal cords ache, my breasts are gone, and I will never know if I will be able to carry a child because there's a good possibility I'm sterile. You call this care? I could not consent to this due to both my age and my mental health conditions, yet you call this care. My parents were baited with the idea that I would commit suicide if this was not given to me. They were told, would you rather have a dead daughter or a living son? These are not the words of a doctor. They are the words of a politically motivated activist. Kids deserve a chance to grow up whole.
This is wrong, and they are doing it to minors.
The top female athletes are men. USA Today gave the Woman of the Year award to a man. The president said the bravest women he knows are men. People who want to celebrate Women's History Month but don't even know how to define one. Cutting off your penis does not make you a woman. Cutting off your breast does not make you a man. You were designed by an intelligent creator. The enemy is a liar, and it's time to tell the truth. In the beginning, God made them male and female. They can go ahead and cancel us from every platform they got, but you're not going to stop the people of God.
I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery. I will never be a man. Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're gonna go, yeah, that was a woman, had babies?
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Okay, quickly, so I misunderstand. Are we saying that 2 + 2, if you say it's 4, that's racist? I mean, that sounds like we may be mischaracterizing it. What, if you can quickly sum it up?
No, that's not mischaracterizing it at all. Math is basically racist under this ideology because it says there is no such thing as an objective reality. So 4 might not be the right number. 2 + 2 might actually equal 5.
How has it come that leaders of parties in countries like the UK, and we see a lot of it in America as well, just won't say what a woman is?
Well, first of all, I have to apologize to you because all of this wokeness originates here in the United States of America, and then we export it to you in the UK.
Yes, you're to blame.
So we started this really in America. Yes, we are. You know, the wokeness starts here, and then it, of course, moves over, and now you guys have to deal with it. The world has to deal with it. This is all a farce. They are seeking to erase women, and this is the Radical Rainbow Mafia, as I call it. This is not your average LGBT activist. This is the Rainbow Mafia section of that radical LGBTQ movement that has made women less than, and then has elevated all of this transgenderism and all of this pick your gender, identify as potato. They have hijacked the women's rights movement, the feminist movement, and actual feminists should be really pissed off about it.
I don't know what to do anymore. I am now 20 years old. I started medically transitioning at 16. I got a double mastectomy before I was on hormones. And then a few months later, I was put on testosterone. This isn't the solution. Destroying my body, my life. I was a teenager. I didn't know better. I'm sad for myself, of course, but I'm sad for humanity and the children. I'm angry. What's gonna happen to the kids and the youth? And there's so many, there's so many. When we get 30, 40-year-olds that are going to be like, what the f*** did I do when I was 16 or whatever, and you can't go back. I really, really hope that all these professionals get their friggin' karma, because I know that some of them don't realize, and some of them might be brainwashed and whatever, but some of them know exactly what they're doing.
I really feel like some people in the trans community and the trans medicalists and the doctors really, really target the most vulnerable of us. I have borderline personality disorder, and I know for a fact that this is the reason for my transition. It's a very difficult mental illness, and one of the core features is not having any sense of self or identity, and my doctors knew this. I wasn't happy as a girl, so that meant I was a boy and I was trans, and so I just took the cure that was handed to me. I was told that I was being given a cure, and I wouldn't want to kill myself anymore. And it wasn't true. There are so many mental health disorders that make you hate your body, and the solution isn't to change your body, it's to fix your brain, you know? I just don't want anyone else to ever feel this way. I lost my voice, I lost my chest. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have kids.
This is what happens when you give a woman testosterone. This is for 5 years. This is what happens, essentially. I got out of my haircut because my hair was driving me nuts. And I shaved it because I'm tired of watching my hair thin out, and it's less distressing if I shave it. So when I talk about being too far gone, I don't really know what else to call it. This is what I mean. This is how deep my voice is. It's gotten deeper over time, and it's settled. This is what I mean by hair loss. And it just keeps getting worse. It keeps thinning. It keeps receding backwards.
I've been off hormones / detransitioning for a couple of years. I'm not crying and blaming them for my decisions because I was a legal adult. I was a legal adult when I made these decisions. I knew that my voice would be permanently altered. I knew that I would permanently grow facial hair, which I still do. You can't really see it right now because I pluck my face. Literally, these tweezers are in my car all the time because on my breaks, I pluck my face. Now, my issue with this is that they're allowing these things to happen to children. Children who can't drive. Children who are not old enough to buy alcohol because their brains aren't, like, they're not mature enough to do that. Why are we allowing this to happen to children? I would have been so much further along in my transition before, like, if I would have started that young. And I'm detransitioning, so that would not have worked out the way that I thought it would work out whenever I was that age.
A lot of people in the news coming out detransitioning. Could you speak to that phenomenon?
I've been in this work for a long time. I know a lot of trans folks, close friends, family members, and I've just never heard a case of anyone detransitioning.
Can you?
Do you think a trans woman is a real woman?
I don't really like the way those questions are formulated. You know, I don't know what that means. What do you mean a real woman?
Well, I'm asking you, in your mind, you know, it depends what you think a real woman is, but do you think a trans woman is a woman?
No.
Alan Walker said the word pedophile shouldn't be used to refer to people who are attracted to children because it comes with a stigma.
Walker also said people can be attracted to children without acting on it.
Walker said the term minor attracted people, or MAPS, should be used to describe people who are attracted to children.
It's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile. A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors.
Police budget just balanced itself. I don't even know. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Just a little bit back, thank you. Thank you.
150 people outside the church set upon the group.
So how many people so far have been transferred to this female prison?
Approximately 40.
And how many people have gone from the female to the male prison? 0. And how many more are they?
There are 287 pending applications.
To go from the male prison to female prison?
33.8% of that 287 are registered sex offenders, meaning this is not their first offense or a sex crime.
So you think some of these people are doing this on purpose, to come to the female prison?
Yes, with bad intentions.
Do you think this number will grow over the next few years as more people find out that they can have this option to go into the female prison?
Absolutely. There are very few reasons why someone wouldn't want to take advantage of that. To be forcefully housed with a serial rapist is extremely callous and abusive. What it's done is provided the same privileges, the same opportunities to predator and victim. So no one is safe, just made the victim pool bigger.
My name is Horus, and I'm a red-tailed hawk. In our world, I do have the body of a hawk, but while fronting, I consider myself a Therian, because I am in a human body, but my identity is still a hawk. Not all animal alters will identify this way, and I am, in fact, the only animal alter in our system who does identify this way. I am doing my best to come to terms with living in a human body.
الدولة هذه ما في أي شيء يحمينا كبشر. أنا ليش لازم أخرج وأروح لدولة جديدة وأبدأ معاناة فقط عشان أعامل كإنسان؟ ليش؟
Right now, as a trans women are women.
Well, I'm telling you, as a man, that's bull. It's total bull. Okay. You know what? Nobody confronts you. That's the problem.
Really?
If they'd say,
really?
What the?
You want to bet?
What the? Is
you know
going?
what I have had
Do you know how many people you've embarrassed at City Hall?
Me, an embarrassment to City Hall.
They have
really?
to tolerate that.
City, sir. You are an embarrassment to this city.
I am a pillar in the city.
Everybody knows.
I'm a pillar in this. Now, you do that. Do you know why? Every time some bull like this happens, my sales go up because people are wanting this.
Really?
Really.
We're going to show them the side of you, and
you do it. You do it. You do it really good. Because guess what?
Hopefully we can wake you up.
You are nuts.
Let's wake you up.
You are nuts.
Sir.
You're not a woman. You don't look like a woman. You don't act like a woman.
Really?
You're in the head.
Across the pond in the United Kingdom, healthcare practitioners, doctors and nurses at a government-controlled National Health Service hospital are now forbidden, or they will likely lose their jobs, from using the words women or motherhood at a doctor's office. Instead, mother, as you've heard several times, thank you, it's crazy, as you've heard several times this weekend, mother has become birthing person, and the word, I love this, we hate the fake science, and the word breastfeeding is now, please bear with me because this is literally the grossest word that I've ever heard in my life, chest feeding. Ew. That doesn't even make any sense. And now, our own government's federal budget proposal released this week also replaces the word mother with birthing person, following the lead of Planned Parenthood.
Your parents screwed up.
Jeffrey Marsh, creepy groomer social media influencer, is infamous for telling kids to go, quote, no contact or non-contact with their parents. But don't worry, Marsh says, because if you disown your parents, you can always replace them with Jeffrey Marsh.
Your parents screwed up. It's okay to say so. That's why I made a Patreon, so that we could talk about it, so that we could connect in a way that has more privacy. I think you're worthy.
Jeffrey Marsh has your real interests at heart.
Do you understand what she means?
Mom, I said I've been saying it basically.
What? I'm finished. Oh, good.
Really? I'm not playing. I just feel like I have to come out to you.
Oh my God. God, did you see what I heard today?
Mom, basically, I can make, if you're worried about kids, I can make honestly, I just wanted, Mom, if anything,
you know
I thought you would be happy for me.
If you come here to this house again, I will leave this house for you. I will call your dad and let him know.
Just walking on the street, like what a detransitioner's awareness rally is.
This is the awareness of all of the harms that gender medicine has done to pretty much anybody who will be honest about what they have been through.
What this event is about is we're just bringing awareness to detransitioners, because if you look at the media right now, you only see that it's the transition perspective, that it's good, it's healthy, that their life is sunshine and rainbows, but the dark side that most people don't understand is that people like myself and the other speakers who were speaking today, we're in pain, our bodies are failing.
What led you to decide you wanted to talk about this publicly?
I got to the point where I was like, you know, it doesn't help anyone if I just stay in my room and mope about things. I care about kids getting that chance to grow up whole. I really do. You know, I've worked with kids in the past, and they have a certain magic and innocence to them that deserves to be protected.
Us detransitioners, we're not taking it seriously. There's not resources specifically for us.
The medical systems that even pioneered the idea of giving kids puberty blockers, they have reversed course on this and decided that letting kids grow up whole with actual help is the best course, and that makes me hopeful. I just hope the US doesn't take.
This is the reason why I hate biological men, and you should too. If you don't know who I am, my name is Blossom. I use they, them pronouns. And it's not because I hate men. That's not what we're talking about right now. There's no such thing as biological men. That's not a real thing. That is a transphobic dog whistle. What it's doing is it's trying to justify transphobia using science when, first of all, man is a term associated with gender and not with sex. But even if we were talking about males, sex is also a spectrum. So if you ever hear somebody say biological men or biological males or any language like that, call them out, run away, educate them, do something. It's not it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, you guys, listen, this right here is the perfect example of the modern day church. I can't even tell you how this video is the complete encapsulation of the modern day church. And I'm not just talking the Catholic Church. The Christian church is also a complete clown show, a complete mockery of biblically what God has wanted us to be, especially in these last days. There's a very small remnant church that actually is able to carry out the calling in which God has called them to carry out, to abide by biblical principles and values, and to reap a harvest, which the Bible says is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Listen, we are definitely there. This is wicked. This is weird. It's a complete mockery of the things of Jesus Christ. Let me know if you agree. Comment below. Follow Voice of Truth.
There's a girl who had her breasts removed at, I think, 13 or 15 because after 90 minutes of consultation with gender-affirming psychologists and doctors, in 90 minutes they decided to follow her advice and have her breasts taken off. She is now in her early 20s and is suing Kaiser Permanente. I hope she sues them for a lot of money. It's unbelievable. You're 15 years old. You're not allowed to decide to vape, but you can decide to have your breasts cut off. That's really sick stuff. The origins of all of this is that we have lost our way because everybody is free to choose what they think is right. There is no right and wrong. It is all how do you feel. There is no male and female. There is no right and wrong. That's what happens when you get rid of the foundations, the moral foundations of a society, in our case, Judeo-Christian.